Let us start from one very obvious-looking concept, that is, production. I am taking this topic first because it is must to read and understand this before any specific businesses are understood. It sets the background for delving deep into our different businesses. Before we get into detail, tell me, what is your understanding of production?
Well, for me, production is a highly structured, often mechanical process whereby raw materials are transformed into finished goods.
Excellent. Great answer. Production is any activity that creates present or future utility. Production may be equivalently described as a process that transforms inputs, factors of production, into outputs. Please note that the two descriptions are equivalent because output is something that creates present or future utility.
Sure, thanks.
Let's start with inputs. Among the inputs into production are land, labor, capital, and the more elusive category called entrepreneurship or business acumen. To this list, it has become increasingly common to add such factors as knowledge or technology, organization, and energy.
And a production function is the relationship by which inputs are combined to produce output.
Correct. It may be represented as the box in figure. Inputs are fed into it, and output is discharged from it. The box implicitly embodies the existing state of technology, which improves steadily over time. Let's spend a minute on technology. During my times, car production was a very manual and people-intensive process, and the number of defects in the produced cars was also much higher than it is now. Now, in current times, the technology has improved tremendously. Now you have automated assembly lines, technology-driven paint shops, etc., due to which the production rate is much higher. The number of people required has reduced significantly, and the number of defects have also reduced tremendously. So, improvement in technology improves efficiency of operations significantly.
The point that you are saying is that process of production will remain same, that is, conversion of input into valuable output or utility. The state of technology defines the effectiveness of production and the value of output, right?
Very true. Let's delve more into it by casting production function in the form of a mathematical equation.
Great! I am very excited. Let's do it. In fact, I love mathematics.
Consider a production process that employs two inputs, capital, that is K, and labor, that is L, to produce output, that is Q. The relationship between K, L, and Q may be expressed as Q is equal to F function of K and L, where F is a mathematical function that summarizes the production function depicted in figure. It is no more than a simple rule that tells how much Q we get when we employ specific quantities of K and L. Let's take example of bookshelf that we make in our furniture business. We need capital to set up our factories, for buying building and equipment, and for procuring raw material. We also need expensive machines for carving the wood into shapes we desire for our designer furniture, and we need labor to process the raw materials using the equipment to create bookshelves. For simplicity's sake, Let us assume that in this example, the output, say, number of bookshelves per week, is linked to just two factors, that is, capital and labor. And that capital is linked to how the equipment is utilized to transform the raw materials into actual output. So, let us assume that capital is measured as the number of equipment hours per week, a combination of raw materials and equipment, and labor is measured as the number of labor hours per week. So, suppose the production function for bookshelf is given by Q is equal to 2 multiplied by K multiplied by L, where K is measured in equipment hours per week, L is measured in person hours per week, and Q output is measured in bookshelves per week. For example, 2 equipment hour per week combined with 3 person hour per week would yield 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to 12 bookshelves per week with this simplified production function. The relationship between K, L and weekly output of bookshelves for the production function Q is equal to 2KL is summarized in table. So, with 1 equipment hours per week and 1 person hours per week, the output is 2 bookshelves per week. With 5 capital hours per week and 5 labor hours per week, the output is 50 bookshelves per week.